Hello, everybody. Thank you for taking time to partake in this today. First, I just want to give a special thank you to the BSA for allowing us to partake, and also to Deb Franchi. I appreciate all the work that Deb's done to help bring this together. So just a quick introduction to myself. My name is Paul Marquez, head of architectural specifications with Excel Dryer. I've been with the company for over 6 years now. I was born in Salem, Massachusetts, grew up in Lynn, Massachusetts, and all my education was done in Massachusetts as well. Did my undergraduate at Westfield State, and I did my graduate degree at Northeastern University. So thank you guys also for giving me an opportunity to dress up today. As you can see, not wearing my pajamas and tied my bow tie and have a suit on. So let me jump right into this. And for the rest of the presentation, I am going to go ahead and just shut the camera off so that we can focus on what we have in front of us. Jumping right in. More transparent shade of green. Okay. So again, this is presented with collaboration with AIA, BCA, and Excel Dryer. Just some information right here for you guys to take a quick look at. Again, this is the credits, and this is just the course information. I'm sure all that's been handled up front, but you can see where you qualify for all these different credits as well, continuing education units. All right, the purpose and learning objectives. So just straightforward. You can see it right here. Just construction is going green these days, and we want to make sure that everybody's comfortable with PCRs, LCAs, EPDs, and we're going to discuss that and making sure that you're able to do an apples to apples comparison. Here are the learning objectives. You can go ahead and read that directly from the screen. I don't want to bore you with that. But the important thing is that at the end of the day, we're just going to have a very strong understanding of EPDs, PCRs, LCAs, and how to apply them when you're making decisions to select the product. All right, jumping right in. Restrooms are not typically a part of the building immediately associated with green initiatives, although restrooms are a necessary space. They consume resources and generate costs. High water usage, waste generation, and energy consumption for electrical and lighting can plague bathroom design. However, careful product selection and planning can turn this water, energy, and dollar-hungry real estate into a high-efficiency, cost-conscious space. It may surprise you to learn that the environmental impact of paper towel use begins with paper production and continues after their use. Take a look at the slide that we have in front of you. To make 1 ton of paper towels, 17 trees are consumed. 20,000 gallons of water, I repeat, 20,000 gallons of water are used, and 7,000 gallons of that water is polluted. The impact is this equates to 40 cubic feet of landfill space and more than 3 tons of CO2 emissions. And I think most of us are pretty familiar with the fact that decomposing paper towels produce methane gas, which we know is a leading cause of global warming. All right, more green is good, right? That we know. But how green is that product you're considering? How are you to be sure that you're making the most sustainable product choice when sales materials report that each option is the best or the greenest? What product considerations should you be aware of to aid in your decision making? Well, we're going to help you guys out with that today. Defining transparency. While LCAs are helpful in identifying performance attributes and the environmental impact of a particular product, they are not helpful in comparing one product to another unless both have gone through the same LCA process. And I stress that. Even still, unless the data is being reported in the same way, how can one be sure they aren't comparing apples to oranges? With consistent and transparent reporting in place, it's important to recognize that or equal, quote unquote, products are not, in fact, equal. Specifying, simplified, and standardized. That is the ultimate goal in today's talk about transparency. Getting to know labels. Throughout the duration of the presentation, we'll examine some labels you may be familiar with. If you're not familiar, no worries. We'll be defining and discussing each as we move forward. Toolbox. Eco-labels and products declarations are the workman's tool in the age of transparency. To wield these in the battle for clear, confident product evaluations, decision makers need to get comfortable with an alphabet soup of PCRs, EPDs, and LCAs. Each, in their own way, help to level the playing field. It is the combination of the three which delivers on the promise of transparency. What is a PCR? First, we'll tackle PCRs. By definition, a PCR is a set of rules, requirements, and guidelines following internationally recognized protocols established through industry consensus to develop environmental product declarations for one or more product categories. Excuse me. Standardized evaluation guidelines and reporting allow for the specifying community and buyers to conduct a fair and just comparison of products and ultimately make more informed decisions based on credible third-party testing and not false claims. In layman terms, a PCR helps to prevent greenwashing. It encourages all industry members to use the same rules, or, if you will, same units of measurement. PCRs can exist for any product category, but today we're going to focus on PCRs for hand dryers. As a global third-party science company with more than a century of expertise and experience, UL Environment, a business division of Underwriters Laboratory, was chosen to create and publish the PCR for hand dryers. The company has a rich history innovating safety solutions in areas of electricity, sustainability, renewable energy, and nanotechnology. To produce results backed in science and to aid in reporting of resulting data, UL certifies, validates, tests, verifies, inspects, audits, advises, and educates. All of their initiatives have an underlying goal of safeguarding people, products, facilitating trade, and providing peace of mind. UL reports, quote, "We provide the knowledge and experience to help navigate growing complexities across the supply chain, from compliance and regulation issues to trade challenges and market access," end quote. You'll note here that the PCR is the first of several steps in an overall equation. What is an LCA? Once PCRs are developed, products must undergo lifecycle assessments. It's no longer enough for a specifier to consider the environmental impact of a product during its time of use. We need to talk about the holistic impact from extraction of raw materials to the end of the product's life. This process, the process is called a lifecycle assessment, or as we said, LCA. An LCA must be conducted by, and I stress this so much, it must be conducted by an independent third-party assessor to be considered valid. In an LCA, the cycle that a material product goes through is broken down into stages as noted here on the slide in front of you. Transitioning from material production through to the impacts that occur when the material product is either reused or disposed of, including the impacts of landfills and solid waste, as you can see there at the end. What is an EPD? The reporting leads to the creation of the Environmental Product Declaration, or EPDs. Type 3, independently verified eco-labels, or comprehensively internationally harmonized reports that document the way in which a product throughout its life cycle affects the environment. Every product with an EPD must be evaluated through the same use phase methods developed through the industry consensus. Some examples of evaluation measurements are energy per use and dry time. An important factor considered in the PCR process and when comparing hand drying models and the amount of energy consumption each requires in order to perform the task of drying a user's hands by establishing a definition for dry residual moisture equaling 0.25 grams or less. Allows the length of time to establish the threshold to be measured. In turn, the environmental impact of each hand dryer can be evaluated by calculating the time it takes to dry one's hands using the same endpoint. First ever global PCR. In August of 2016, after more than a year-long data-driven and science-backed process, UL Environments published the product category rule guidelines for hand dryers. The rule established product evaluation methods to determine key values such as dry time, energy consumption, which were developed throughout the industry consensus. The global PCR is the first of its kind and encourages hand dryer manufacturers worldwide to be transparent, to evaluate the environmental performance and impact of hand dryers with a common approach. At the means, so what does that mean? Less confusion in the marketplace due to standardized testing and reporting. Now, specifiers are able to make informed decisions based on consistent data points. If there is no EPD, then how can you possibly know the true impact of the product you're specifying? So EPDs are definitely very important. Applying the PCR to product selection. Specifying simplified and standardized. With consistent and transparent reporting in place, it is important to recognize that quote unquote or equal products are not in fact equal. Only those products that have undergone testing as outlined in the PCR for hand dryers have quantifiable, credible, and sustainable claims of environmental sustainability. William Gagnon, Vice President of Marketing Sales for a large hand dryer manufacturer and a PCR committee chairman said, quote, "The hand dryer market, like so many others, is inundated with knockoff products and manufacturers making unsustainable claims. Architects and specifiers may approve or equal products that are not true equivalents. The same is true for buyers looking to compare and purchase the best product for their facility. All products need to be evaluated by the same set of rules and reporting guidelines. For hand dryers, that rule is the new global PCR from UL Environments," end quote. Using an LCA in product evaluation. The chart here highlights the findings of a 2009 LCA study. It has since been updated to the following testing outlined in the PCRs for hand dryers as part of the EPD certification process. An LCA not only weighs a product's energy efficiency, but also measures to what degree its efficiency translates into significant environmental benefits over the full life cycle of the product. Here, we can visually compare the carbon footprint of hand drying, looking at different drying methods: high-speed energy efficient hand dryers, traditional hand dryers, paper towels, and 100% recycled paper towels. Through a scientific approach, the LCA permits comparison to other similar use products. In this case, conventional hand dryers and recycled, as well as virgin paper towels, to identify their carbon footprint impact. Just take a look at that. I think that carbon footprint graph, bar graph, says a lot. High-speed, energy-efficient hand dryers use 80% less energy than conventional hand dryers and represent a 95% cost savings versus paper towels, while eliminating their labor, maintenance, and waste. The results of the LCA shown that the high-speed, energy-efficient hand dryer also reduces the environmental impact of hand drying by 50% to 75%. High-speed, energy-efficient dryers also reduce the use of non-renewable energy, impacts on ecosystems, and emissions that damage human health. In comparison to paper towels, the combined environmental impact of producing the paper towels and associated materials far exceed the impact from the use of a hand dryer. Although the use of a recycled paper fibers in the towels may reduce some of the impact of the system, even at 100% recycled content, the high-speed, energy-efficient dryer still maintains a significant margin of benefit. Particularly in comparison to paper towels, the combined environmental impact of producing paper towels and associated materials far exceed the impact from the use of energy-efficient dryers. Among the sensitivity tests that have been conducted are variations in the amount of recycled content for the towels, the methods for determining the impacts of recycled content, the assumed source of electricity, and the behavior of the user. The LCA scenarios regarding user behavior reveal the important role that user plays in determining the overall impact of each system. High-intensity users will cause a significantly larger impact because the increase is nearly in proportion to the amount of dry time or amount of towels used. However, even high-intensity users of the high-speed, energy-efficient system remain at a lower of impact than low-intensity users of other systems. Simply put, even the heaviest users of high-speed, energy-efficient hand dryers will still have less impact than even the lowest users of paper towels. So, how can we use transparency to create greener restrooms? Using transparency to create greener restrooms. Let's face it, restrooms are changing spaces to turn green. There's zones of energy intensity with high water usage and waste generation. Looking at how commercial buildings use water will show the value of low consumption restroom products. Buildings consume 80% of the nation's potable water. In commercial buildings, restrooms, by a large percentage, use more water than any other water use sites in the building combined. Toilets and faucets consume almost 61% of all the water, followed by laundry, washing, or sanitation. However, careful product selection and planning can turn water, energy, and dollar-hungry real estate into a high-efficiency, cost-conscious space. Creating more efficient and green hand drying solutions. Today, the choices for hand drying commercial restrooms are either paper towels made from virgin recycled content or electric hand dryers, both traditional and high speed. Speed or drying is just one of a number of benefits that high speed, energy efficient hand dryers offer over other methods of hand drying. First, let's look at energy use. Environmental Building News commissioned a life cycle analysis comparing the energy used by 4 hand drying methods: high-speed energy-efficient hand dryers, conventional electric hand dryers, recycled paper towels, and virgin paper. Let's take a look at this slide here. The study considered energy use to harvest raw materials and manufacture paper towels. It also assumed 2 towels per use. Now, in fairness to that, typically when I use paper towels, I think I get more than 2, and it's just because that first one doesn't want to come out, and usually I have to pull out and probably get 4. But for this purpose of this study, they assumed 2 paper towels per use. But the study did not consider the energy required to transport or dispose of the paper towels. If that energy was included, even more savings would result from high-speed energy-efficient hand dryers. And just take a look at that bottom right corner there. High-speed energy-efficient hand dryers, cost per 1,000 hand dryers, 50 cents. Qantas, an international lifecycle assessment research firm, undertook a complete beginning-to-end lifecycle assessment, LCA, to compare the environmental performance of paper towels. 100% recycled paper towels, standard hand dryers, and high-speed energy-efficient hand dryers as well. The study was peer-reviewed by an independent panel of LCA experts via the general standard, which is ISO 14040 standards. The Qantas assessment accounts for the total climate change impacts, or global warming potential, over the entire life cycle of each system. It also measures the carbon footprint of each system in kilograms or equivalent carbon dioxide. Of the 4 types evaluated, the high-speed energy-efficient hand dryers had a carbon footprint 1/3 to 1/4 the magnitude of the other choices. Using transparency to create sustainable restroom product solutions. Manufacturers are increasingly striving to use transparency to create sustainable restroom product solutions. One solution, high-speed energy-efficient hand dryers. It takes about 8 to 10 seconds to dry hands with paper towels. And with a traditional dryer, the old industry standard is, like we like to say, it can take about 30 to 45 seconds. This is why hand dryers are installed in only about 10% of restrooms today, until now. The new industry standard, high-speed energy-efficient dryer, changed the perception of hand drying. High-speed energy-efficient hand dryers were developed to enhance a restroom user experience and to create a more sustainable product. In the United States, the first high-speed energy-efficient hand dryer was introduced to the industry in 2001 under patented technology. There are 2 forms of water on wet hands: loose droplets and a residual moisture layer. Traditional dryers are not nearly as successful, or should I say, quick at removing both types as high-speed energy-efficient hand dryers are. High-speed dryers use a focused, high-velocity airstream moving optimally at 18,000 linear feet per minute. The air temperature is 135 degrees Fahrenheit, 57 degrees Celsius, for those of us that prefer to use Celsius. The residual moisture layer is rapidly evaporating from your hands within 3 to 4 seconds. An additional stream of heated air to blow off any excessive water film completely dries hands in 8 seconds as tested to the PCR guidelines. And again, this is tested to industry standard PCR guidelines. The hand drying market, like so many others, has its own share of knockoff products and manufacturers making unsupported claims. Architects and specifiers may approve or equal products that are not true equivalents or units that are not as reliable. The development and publication of standards like environmental product declaration, life cycle assessments, analysis reflects the manufacturer's commitment to transparency and encourages other manufacturers to follow suit, allowing decision makers a clear path when specifying products. So let's take a look at a real life case study here. Grand Central Terminal, New York City. So this is a real live example of high-speed energy efficient hand dryers and installation. Grand Central Station is about One high-profile, high-traffic venue that benefits from high-speed hand dryers. It spans 48 acres, and it's in the heart of Midtown Manhattan. Grand Central Terminal in New York City hosts approximately 750,000 visitors daily, which that's about 10,000 of which are using the restrooms during lunchtime, using the facility. So they have about 10,000 people that come in for lunch on a daily basis. In addition to hosting 68 shops and 35 restaurants, this iconic landmark offers opportunities for tours, special events, entertainment throughout the year. Esteemed for its architectural design, the high-profile venue also holds another distinction. It's the busiest train station in our country. Here we see Steve Stroh, Assistant Deputy Director of Electrical and Mechanical Maintenance. Steve's quoted as saying, quote, "Everything we do we must look at with sustainability in mind. We made a number of upgrades to Grand Central Terminal over the years, including updating the electrical, plumbing, and lighting systems led by our sustainable team," unquote. Under Stroh's guidance, areas receiving particular attention were the restrooms throughout the facility. Originally outfitted with paper towel dispensers, restroom floors were often filled with waste on the floors. The sinks and toilets frequently were clogged with paper and improper disposal of paper towels. Paper towels also required inherited labor, maintenance, and waste management. To eliminate these problems, hand dryers were considered as a sustainable solution. Stroh chanced upon a high-speed, energy-efficient dryer at a rest stop upon a work trip. He thought, if they could hold up to the abuse of a public rest area, they would be a great option for Grand Central Station. So impressed with the dryer's performance, and after learning of the dryer's associated green certifications, he and his team threw in the towel. 24 hand dryers from an American hand dryer manufacturer were installed and are able to handle the extreme volume of visitors at Grand Central Terminal. So let me just sum this up. 75,000 daily visitors, 24 hand dryers, 0 paper towels, no lines, no clogged toilets. Hand dryers are available in a number of cover finishes, including black, white, and custom color. Chrome plated, bulk molding compound, and stainless steel. Some manufacturers also offer custom digital images for cover graphics, such as company logos, team mascots, school colors, and other high-resolution images. These designs can be included as an optional green message that educators uses about why high-speed, energy-efficient hand dryers are better for the environment than paper towels. And you can see here in this particular picture that Grand Central Station just went with their logo on that. So we went there and random resistant covered finish as well. Okay, building on transparency to obtain certificates. Manufacturers' commitment to transparency and cognizant of the cradle-to-grave environmental impacts of the products they create offer the best allies to help facilities qualify for LEED, Green Globes, and other program credits, and to satisfy corporate and governmental sustainability goals. Using EPDs, PCRs, and LCAs, an architect is equipped to accurately forecast the energy use, reduction in energy consumption, cost savings, and comparative environmental impact of a product. For example, a leading high-speed, energy-efficient hand dryer manufacturer published independent third-party verified data that has been tested via PCR, demonstrating energy use per hand dry cost savings, carbon footprint reduction. When specifying a hand dryer solution, an architect can confidently propose this high-speed, energy-efficient hand dryer as the environmental superior product over paper towels because the impact of producing the paper towels far exceeds the impact of the high-speed, energy-efficient dryer. And you can see that clearly there on this chart. Given the verifiable product performance data, the architect also equips the project to easily qualify for environmental program credits. Under this example, when pursuing LEED V4 certification, the high-speed, energy-efficient hand dryer could earn energy and atmosphere credits, optimized energy performance, material resources credits, MR credits, building product disclosure and optimization, environmental product declarations for sourcing of raw materials, materials and resources, solid waste management ongoing, and indoor environmental quality credit, green cleaning custodial effectiveness assessment, LEED O&M projects only. Here are some rating systems you are probably familiar with. Such certifications as LEED and Green Globes increasingly require products with demonstrable, sustainable, and third-party certifications. LEED. In March 2000, the U.S. Green Building Council formally released the LEED Green Building Rating System. Today, nearly 10,000 public and private buildings projects in the United States and abroad have used LEED as their certification standard. Green Globes, a product of the Green Building Initiative, GBI, is a green management tool for the building design and construction industry. Adapted from a Canadian protocol, Green Globes was introduced into the United States in 2004. Since that time, 450 buildings across the United States have successfully achieved Green Globe certification. Green Globes incorporate a whole building design to calculate an energy performance value as well as prescriptive criteria for individual label deficiencies. Building Green, the Green Catalog and Green Restaurant Association are also gaining popularity in the industry. Building Green approved Environmental Building News, a leading newsletter on environmental responsible design and construction since 1992. EBN is independently published and advertisement free. The research and reporting is uncompromised by corporate industry sponsorship. This was previously Green Spec listed. Excuse me, guys. Green Catalog, Green Hotels Association. This is the last one here, real quickly. Hotel Association researched environmental friendly energy and water saving products and list recommendations of best products in this category for the lodging industry. Operating in about 41 states in Canada, the Green Restaurant Association, GRA, works with restaurants, manufacturers, and distributors to fulfill its mission of greening the restaurant industry. Okay, voluntary green programs and memberships. Architecture 2030 for products. Issued by Architect 2030 in response to the climate change crisis, the challenge seeks creative leaders from the global architect and building community to adopt, design, and manufacture green and low carbon products that reduce their carbon footprint by 30% below the product average by 2014, and then incrementally improve that reduction to 50% by the year 2030. The U.S. Green Building Council, USGBC's mission is to transform the way buildings and communities are designed, built, and operated, enabling an environmental and socially responsible, healthy, and prosperous environment that improves the quality of life. Green Building Initiatives. The mission of the Green Building Initiative is to accelerate the adoption of building practices that result in energy efficiency, healthier and environmentally sustainable buildings by promoting credible and practical green building approaches for residential and commercial construction. Case study, Brooklyn Bowl. Let's take another look at another real-world example. If you haven't been to Brooklyn Bowl, highly recommend that you do. Brooklyn Bowl is a 16-lane bowling alley, music venue, and restaurant. It was described by Rolling Stone as, quote, one of the most amazing places on earth, end quote. And that's not only in part due to the amazing acts like Guns N' Roses, Questlove, Beck, and Elvis Costello who performed there in the past. It's also, check this out, the world's first LEED certified bowling alley. And to earn this distinction, Brooklyn Bowl adopted string-mounted pin spotters, reclaimed cork, and recycled truck tires for the floors, 100% wind-powered electricity, and of course, high-speed, energy-efficient hand dryers. The dryers selected were the only in the industry to be tested by the guidelines from the Global Hand Dryer PCR published by UL Environments. Finding one that was made in USA certified helped the facility qualify for LEED version 4 credits, the most of any dryer in the industry, in fact. All right. In addition to fitting into the green initiatives, surprisingly, the high-speed energy-efficient dryer also meet the upscale and trendy design of the facility. For a project that was curated down to the smallest detail, it was important for the hand drying solution to fit in with the overall aesthetics of Brooklyn Bowl. Stephen Schwartz, general manager at Brooklyn Bowl, said, quote, "It's an iconic Brooklyn place with an iconic look. We put a lot of thought and effort into the way this place looks, including the bathrooms. And I think the dryer has a sophisticated look that really fits the feel of the place and carries it through. So you're not in this beautiful place and walk into something that looks like a gas station bathroom. You've got a great look in there, and the product fits right in," end quote. In a facility that hosts 2,000, 3,000 visitors a day, performance, reliability, and sustainability were important factors for consideration. Schwartz has had great success with the dryers. They keep trash off the floor and keep clogs out of the toilets. His bathrooms are cleaner and his guests are happier. All right, putting it all together. We've definitely covered a lot of topics today, so it's important to put it all together. When evaluating a hand dryer's manufacturer's information, defining benchmarks like performance and sustainability means meeting sustainable goals for the restroom space and ultimately the entire project. A specification list should include a review of the proposed product's performance, such as dry time, less than 15 seconds is preferable, availability to adjust speed and sound control, availability of adjustable heat control, meaning high, medium, low, and off, external visible service LED, or other indicators for maintenance, adjustable sensor range to prevent misfires. The manufacturer's performance of product failure rate should be less than 1% as a target goal. And then verified product savings, quantifiable savings of time, money into the environment. 80% less energy than conventional hand dryers and 95% cost savings versus paper towels. Sustainability. No more maintenance and upkeep from paper towel waste. Certification and program participation, for example, Building Green approved and helps qualify for several LEED credits. EPDs, PCRs, LCAs, additional LEED credits for EPD certification. Manufactured in the USA, additional LEED credit. Published and independently verified forecast reduction in carbon footprint. Hygiene. HEPA filter system with demonstrated performance, for example, proven to remove 99.97% of potential present bacteria at a 0.3 microns from the airstream, technology such as antimicrobial wall guards designed to protect walls from water and inhibit the growth of bacteria. So moving on, numerous studies have been conducted on the hygienic efficiency of hand dryers versus paper towels. 2 studies conducted by the Mayo Clinic and another by the Antimicrobial Test Laboratories concluded that there was effectively no difference in bacterial counts after hand washing and drying with towels versus hand washing and using a hand dryer. Even stronger evidence to debunk the myth that paper towels are more hygienic than hand dryers comes from an independent third-party study published by one of the leading peer-reviewed medical publications, the American Journal of Infection Control. The results of the study found that 17 species of bacteria on unused recycled paper towels, which can transfer to hands while drying. Just understand that. They found 17 types of bacteria on paper towels that hadn't been used. Among the species of bacteria was Bacillus, which is a leading cause of food poisoning. All right. The bottom line is proper hand drying is an instrumental part of hand hygiene to protect against the spreading of germs like the coronavirus. Proper hand hygiene, thoroughly washing hands for at least 20 seconds, and completely drying the hands. The World Health Organization states, quote, once your hands are clean, you should dry them thoroughly by using paper towels or a warm hand dryer, end quote. The CDC, Center for Disease Control, indicated, quote, we have no evidence that hand dryers are spreading the coronavirus. And Johns Hopkins Dr. Larry Chang stated, quote, there is no evidence that these hand dryers are spreading the virus, end quote. So the emphasis is often on the proper washing of hand dryers, but proper hand drying is equally as important. Careful hand drying is a critical factor determining the level of touch contact associated bacterial transfer after hand washing, and its recognition could make a significant contribution towards improving hand care practices in clinical and public health sectors. When reviewing hygiene studies or results of testing, it's important to consider the following: the credibility of the testing organization, findings sourced to ensure there is no bias, controls of the study, including methodology, test environments. Does the environment represent a real-world scenario? In 2000, Dr. Franklin R. Corkrill III and his colleagues at the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota, conducted a randomized trial to determine the effects of forehand drying methods for removing bacteria from washed hands. In a year-long study of 100 people who volunteered to have their hands contaminated with bacteria before washing them, researchers found that the proper hand washing got rid of the same amount of germs regardless of the drying style. To date, this is the most comprehensive and credible study to compare high efficiency of different hand drying methods. All right, one more case study. Northwestern Memorial Hospital. Northwestern Memorial Hospital, one of the country's premier academic medical centers, launched a major hand washing campaign in 2010 aimed at employees, patients, and visitors. Here's a staggering statistic and a reason why the campaign was of such great importance. 80% of the infections are transmitted through touch. As part of the hospital's initiative, dubbed Clean Hands Every Time, paper towels were replaced with a top American hand dryer brand which met the Infection Control Board's rigorous hygiene standards. Like many other high traffic facilities outfitted with paper towels, Northwestern Memorial Hospital restroom floors were littered with waste. In addition, numerous plumbing calls consumed a considerable amount of time and costs. Since proper hand hygiene is among the most important steps hospital staffs can take to prevent infections in patients, the facility engineer team looked into a number of electrical hand dryer options, then consulted with NMH. Infection Control Board, on which electrical dryer model would be the most hygienic hand dryer. The solution. After review, NMH Infection Control Board concluded that dryers with traditional high-velocity heated air streams were the most hygienic option, citing concerns that the trough-style dryers could catch and hold water blown off users' hands, leaving pools of stagnant water where bacteria and mold can grow. The trough area is also susceptible to collecting trash and foreign objects such as hair, gum, and other liquids, further creating an unhygienic environmental and potentially breeding area for bacteria. With an approval from NMH's Infection Control Board, the facility staff installed more than 100 high-speed energy-efficient hand dryers the first year, thus meeting the hospital's rigorous standards for hand hygiene. Installation of high-efficiency hand dryers completed the hospital's existing low-flow plumbing fixtures, toilets, sinks, and urinals. It also saved the hospital an estimated $20,000 in initial annual savings over paper towels. To date, more than 120 dryers have been installed at Northwestern Memorial Hospital's main campus, with more to come as the hospitals embark on building and opening of 2 new facilities. Okay. We can put confidence in green. With the rapid pace of innovation, independent third-party certifications and assessments provide the tools architects and decision makers need to make a confident, accurate product decision. Lifecycle assessments, environmental product declarations, product while helping projects achieve green goals. They allow leading manufacturers to celebrate product accomplishments while ushering a new age of transparency. Designers and architects can more securely forecast cost savings, source reductions, and qualifications. Lending product manufacturers are now working closely with architects, interior designers, and specifiers to serve their vision and complete their designs, bringing the restroom up to standards of the entire project. So in closing, adopting high-efficiency water-saving fixtures and high-speed energy-efficient hand dryers that use 80% less energy than conventional hand dryers. Next-generation commercial restrooms have the ability to significantly reduce the carbon footprint of the built environment. High-speed energy-efficient hand dryers also, again, offer a 95% cost savings when compared to paper towels, eliminating the labor, maintenance, and waste while creating a more hygienic restroom environment. Specify products that meet the needs of your facility, are easy to maintain, have a low cost of ownership, have easily available parts and services, and save water and energy, but do not sacrifice performance. Most importantly, with consistent and transparent reporting in place, recognize that or equal products are not in fact equal. Only those products that have undergone testing as outlined in the PCR for hand dryers, have undergone third-party LCAs, and have obtained certified third-party EPDs have quantifiable, credible, sustainable claims of environmental sustainability. That concludes the presentation, and I just want to say thank you for your time. I also want to note that BSA will have this presentation on their website. if you want to circle back and review or share with your colleagues. In addition, I believe we will also be sharing our online sustainable stadium design on the BSA website too, if you're looking for additional CEUs, which is a nice inside look of Gillette Stadium. And at this point, let me see if we have some questions that I can address. So we did receive some questions before I get into the ones prior, and let me start there. All right, so real quickly, one question just passed up. So what do you have to do in order to get the CEUs was the question that just popped up. It's my understanding when you signed up with the BSA, your information was shared so that we can ensure that you get the CEU. So we will be coordinating that with Patricia to make sure that you do get your CEU credits. I believe there was a sign up link, and Patricia could provide that if you did not have the opportunity to provide that. So prior to registration, some of you did reach out to us, and there was a few questions here that I'm going to do my best to try to answer. So here's the first question that came to us. So how can you envision the U.S. becoming more prominent when it comes to sustainability and health, not just for restroom design, but overall design? A, discuss HPD and international programs, for example, the ones in Europe. So I'm going to do my best to try to answer this, guy. So it's the A&D community, in my opinion, that can help make this happen, making us be forcing manufacturers to be more transparent, demanding more greener products. This is something that we all have to do in collaboration together, where if you're demanding it, of course, the supply is going to be met. With regards to HPDs and international programs like the ones in Europe, I'm not really educated enough to give you a comment on that, but I can definitely research that and get back to you. So the second question here is, Richard would like to see more copper-based metal washroom controls used. So that's question number 2. Richard, what I would say to that is we are finding a big demand now in touchless. It seems that all restrooms, the end users want to walk into a bathroom, a restroom where they don't have to touch anything. And with regards to copper-based, that is something that, it's got to be driven by the owners and the A&D community to call out in specifications to have that on a particular project. The third question here is, Claire is curious about integration with HPD and red list programs. So I will have to circle back, Claire, because I'm not familiar with red list programs. So I promise to get back to you with an answer on that. The next question we have here is question number 4. While thinking about sustainability and maintaining safety, health, and welfare, how to keep costs down? Well, a big way to keep costs down, and this is a self-plug, obviously, is replacing paper with hand dryers. It's an automatic 95% cost savings. In addition to that, you're minimizing the carbon footprint. So not only are you saving money and time and labor in the restrooms for a given facility, you're also making the environment that much greener by reducing the carbon footprint in that particular bathroom. Number 5, how can specifications of green products educate usership for specified designs and promote innovation? That's a great question. One of the things that we're always challenged with is educating the community at large to why it's important to move forward with green products. An example of such that we've taken is putting a green message on our high-speed energy efficient hand dryers, which details the amount of water you're saving, the trees you're saving, the amount of water that's not being polluted. So that's something that we as a manufacturer are doing, and it's a constant education of everyone out there in the A&D community, as well as owners, facilities, just trying to express how important it is for us to move forward with greener products. Okay, question number 6. There are questions regarding learning about advancement in restroom design, hygiene concepts, coronavirus mitigation, etc., in regards to the system integration. All right, so I'm going to assume here is our system help? This is a question that I'm a little stuck on, but what I think the question is what can we do to make restrooms more hygienic? So there are an integrated sink system. We really didn't dive that much into it today, but it's touchless. I think that is the most hygienic, aesthetic approach that we can provide for a restroom solution today. And it's hands-free from once you walk in, from the hands-free soap, hands-free faucet, hands-free dryer, where the dryer is mounted on top of the sink basin and all the water stays inside the sink. So for question number 6 there, I would strongly recommend taking into consideration the integrated sink system as a very hygienic and future restroom design concept to help prevent the spread of coronavirus and as well as mitigate that as well. Question number 7, how can the residential building industry learn from the experience in the commercial sector, or how can residential architects use the research commercial product tools? Well, again, I think that for us, the most applicable product that we would have, and I guess this would be a higher end residential home, would be the integrated sink system again. And aside from that, I have had experiences where interior designers have purchased our dryers and have mounted them in their own homes, whether it be because their grandchildren were just clogging the toilets or what have you. I do find a lot of times that for whether it's the man cave or it's the pool house, there are applications of our high-speed energy-efficient hand dryers being used in residential homes. But what I would suggest and encourage for a residential architect is to take a look at the integrated sink system, and I can provide a lot of information on that because that is a custom product that can fit into any custom residential home, and it's definitely something that can be leveraged in the residential sector as well. So I'm going to jump in here and see. Okay, so we do have another question that popped up here. What is the minimum speed of hand dryers recommended? Well, a lot of manufacturers say that the dry time is X. If they haven't done a PCR tested, then it's really hard to take them at face value. So we recommend 8 to 10 seconds, or you could say up to 15 seconds. If it's a high-speed energy-efficient hand dryer, it shouldn't take more than 15 seconds to answer that question. So let me see if we have any other questions here. I know we're coming up to the end, and we got a few more minutes left. And there was another, these are the questions that I'm seeing in the question and answers, but I also thought there was a chat room. Let me just pull that up, folks. Bear with me for a second. Patricia did show me how to do that earlier because it just didn't automatically come in, and I do have a couple chats. All right. Walk-in link for participants to get AIA credit. So that is posted up there. For those of you who may have signed up a little late, there is a link in the chat room where you can get to ensure you get your CEU. And you can also contact Debbie Frangie at dfrangie, and that's also in the chat as well. If you guys want to just jump in there real quickly to take a look at those links to make sure you get your CEU credits. And I also just want to say I am local. My information is up there. That's my cell phone and my email. Please reach out to me if there's anything that I can do to help you find the best solution for your restroom project for drying of hands. More than happy to be your expert here. Again, I am local. Once we get through this pandemic, more than happy to come in person to visit you in your office, whether it's a product presentation or one of our other CEU lunch and learns that we offer. Very appreciative of your time. Grateful for the fact, like I said earlier, that I had a chance to actually get out of the pajamas today and tie my bow tie and present this to you guys as well. So we're coming up to the last minute of the hour. Just seeing if there's any other questions. And as well, if you think about a question after, or if there's anything I can do to assist, again, please note my email address and my phone number. And again, a special thank you to the BSA, Patricia, and a special thank you to Deb Frangie, who's done a lot of work behind the scenes to help bring this together in collaboration with Patricia at the BSA. We really appreciate you guys' time. Thank you very much. And if there's anything else I can do, just reach out. If not, I'm about to bring this webinar to an end. Let me just check again to see if any other questions have come in. And I have not seen any other questions. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Hope to hear from you soon.